Oh my god, we did it!
I feel like I need to do a proper intro and narration for this one, so let's just get into it. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not a professional gamer. I've really never been a natural at anything in my 23 years of life, but if I'm one thing, it's persistent. Maybe a little too stubborn if I'm being honest. I don't know. Anyways, after years of enjoying content from various speedrunner YouTubers in the community, I decided it was time for me to give it a shot. After doing some research, I decided to try speedrunning one of the first games I ever played. As a total robotics geek, Robot Wars and BattleBots were and are some of my favorite shows on TV. And it just so happened on one average day in the early 2000s, my dad picked up the Robot Wars Game Boy Color game for me on his way home from work. I was so excited. I rushed home to open it up, slap it into my Game Boy, and the controls are pretty rough. Still, I played it all the time and I loved playing it, but objectively, the controls are just bad. In a somehow overlooked or maybe just ignored bug, a lot of the times you're gonna turn in the opposite direction than the button you push. Sometimes you just turn the opposite direction entirely for absolutely no reason. There is some consistency to how it doesn't work, and I bet someone could figure out how to use it to their advantage in speedrunning, but I wasn't able to personally. Either way, I played the hell out of that game, until the Game Boy Advance Robot Wars and BattleBots games released anyways. Then it went in a box and didn't come back out again. That is, until this year, 2021. Most of the games I played as a kid are huge in speedrunning. We're talking about Mario, Sonic, Pokemon, none of which have particularly short or easy runs to get into as an absolute speedrunning beginner. But Robot Wars for the Game Boy Color? There's my game. I was determined. I dusted off my old game and slapped it in my Game Boy and tried to figure out optimal strategies for running each of the two categories. First up was Trials, a group of 4 mini games you have to complete as quickly as possible. The first, Skittles, is a test of dexterity and adaptability. Hit all 25 oil barrels while avoiding every hazard the game throws at you. Again, this looks easy, but there's some real nuance to each run. Will the house spots hit you, slowing you down? Will you perfectly hit every single corner, especially with the wonky controls? And the worst of them all, will the faulty controls hit at the worst possible time and throw you into the pit, ending your run right then and there? I'm not sure my pathing was perfect with this one, but it was good enough in my PvE run, only missing a second off my best time from practice. Didn't get hit. Good. That could be something too. Good. Good. Sweet, don't get hit. Yes! $35, fine, that's fine, that's fine. We can deal with that, we take those. The second trial is the most RNG part of every Trials run. Sumo. 2 bots grapple until one falls off the platform and the other one wins. Simple enough, but there's a catch. Sumo has quite a few different beginning AI paths, and during 2 of them, the enemy bot almost immediately falls off the stage at the beginning of the match. So naturally, if you don't get this path, it's a reset, because with the other AI pathing options, you grapple for a really long time, and sometimes it's stubborn enough to just sit there ages before finally falling off. My personal best had a near perfect AI path, although I think there's one path that can be about a split second quicker. No, just fall right off, just fall right off. Thank you, yes! The third trial is Slalom, and this is probably the place where there are going to be the most improvements if someone does challenge my personal best. Slalom has you piloting a bot through a path of fire traps, picking up the flags attached to each one. The path is only a loose suggestion though, so there's a lot of time saved by memorizing each point and just going straight from point to point, not going through the actual path itself since there's no penalty for going outside of it. In my personal best run, I made a few mistakes and got hit by early fire traps that meant I couldn't skip ones later in the run, but I still ended up with a solid time based on my practice runs. Try being good maybe? Thank you for the suggestion. I'll try that. It doesn't come naturally to me, because I'm not, you know? So, we will give it a shot, but I can't guarantee anything, right? I took too much damage. We go straight. That's such a huge time save. Ooh, close calls. That beats my record, I think. The last trial is the Gauntlet, the most intense trial of all. If there wasn't a clipping issue where you could just run through a wall and avoid every hazard, skipping right to the end of the course. Shout out to Shad Solfson for uploading a video of him doing this about a decade ago. It really did help me cut off the final seconds to bring this run under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Except, in my personal best, I borked the glitch and ended up having to reset my position to get by. Again, more mistakes that could be great time saves for the future. No, wait, maybe. Hold. I think we got this. I think we got this fine. I actually think that's just right on the edge of being okay. Because we're not gonna get hit. Kill a lot's good. Just be ready for it. Yes! 2:27.63. That is what I'm talking about. And there it was. My final time, 2 minutes, 27 seconds and change. The easier of the two runs. I was happy to meet my personal goal of sub 2:30, but I was far from done. The second category was much more competitive and a lot more optimized as well. In Warzone mode, you need to win best of 3 matches against 8 opponents before you win the overall tournament. 16 matches total in a perfect run, and you need to get really lucky and have great positioning specific to each bot. Let me explain. Usually, damage output is really low in this game, and it does take a while to win a match. So how was the world record able to win 16 matches in less than 5 minutes? Well, there's a pretty simple answer to that. Fire. The same fire traps that you dodge in slalom are randomly placed in a fire trap in the arena. And if you go straight to the fire trap at the beginning of each match, you can position yourself right outside of the fire pit. The unsuspecting enemy bot sits right on top of the pit and ideally gets fully taken down by 1 cycle of fire. The thing is, the fire pops up in random locations and 2-cycle fights happen pretty often. Between positioning, the enemy taking their sweet time getting over to the fire pit in the beginning, and times where the bot randomly moves out of the path of the fire leading to a 3rd fire cycle, there are a lot of circumstances that lead to run resets, and that's exactly what made this run so special. From the beginning, you have an easy metric to determine how you're doing halfway through a run. When the 5th bot intro screen starts, you're halfway done. And to be on world record pace, you need to be sitting at just under the 2-minute 20-second mark elapsed by the time you get there. It's also worth mentioning that some bots are faster, some are slower, some are bigger, and some are smaller in this game. Small bots are much worse to randomly get assigned during your runs because the chance of them getting one-cycled by fire is much lower than a big bot. So with all that said, this is how I got the best time ever recorded in Warzone. Set number 1 was against Scudder's Revenge, a slow bot with annoying pathing most of the time. Toasted it in 2 cycles for the first match, not great but not bad. After missing the first fire of match 2, I was bummed to see it miss the second one entirely, but for some reason it registered like it hit. I really don't know why the hitbox was so big here, but we absolutely take those. Set 2 was up against Crasha Nasha, the shark bot. The worst bot in the game to go against, in my opinion. The mouse bot is tiny, so I was fine getting a 2 cycle for the first match. But in the second match, the run began to gain a little time. A 1 cycle on the worst bot in the game. During the entire rest of the stream, I don't think I hit a single 1 cycle on him. With that massive time save off of my average, I knew this run was still alive, even after starting with 3 2 cycles. Set 3 was up against Pussycat, a medium bot, and what we had was just about the fastest fight possible for match number 1. And after getting some really great luck in match 1, we hit it again in the second match as well, 2 1 cycles in a row. Bot number 4 was Dundee, one of the 2 bots I consider to be the best in the game. Quick enough to get over for 1 cycle kills, but big enough that it's a pretty easy bot to hit. And what'd we get? 2 more 1 cycle kills in a row. With that, I knew I was doing great on time. Set 5 started before the 2-minute and 15-second mark. I just needed to keep the same pace. Set 5 went up against Millie and Bug, and that made it really easy to keep the pace. The second bot I consider to be the best in the game. He kinda spazzed out for a second and missed fire damage, but I was able to even it out with a couple of my own attacks for the first 1 cycle. Match 2 was looking pretty rough at the start as well, but somehow that hit a 1 cycle too. The 6th fight was up against Purple Predator, a really small bot similar to Crash and Asha but not quite as bad. We got unlucky for the first fire cycle in match 1, but the second cycle was right on the money. Then another 2 cycle because he spazzed out a little bit before the first one. Set number 7 was up against Behemoth, which is actually one of the more annoying bots in the game and is actually very small. contrary to what you might think. He's pretty slow to get to the fire pit several times before this, and actually killed a few of my previous runs. Match 1 was a 2-cycle, and match 2 went exactly the same way, nothing special really. By the time I finished set number 7, I only had 32 seconds for the final set. I needed a miracle, a good opponent, good AI, and good RNG. 2 1-cycles for the world record. Enter set 8. Diotoire, son of Nemesis, the final boss. Slower, but a great hitbox. We've got this. Match number 1 was exactly what we needed. He got right over to the pit, sat right in the middle, hit the 1-cycle perfectly, and then, as if the AI knew the stakes right then and there, Diotoire got right into position for the second 1-cycle we needed, and my final time was a solid 4 minutes and 34 seconds, beating the world record by 3 whole seconds. A weight lifted. A long-standing goal of mine to have a record speedrun in a game seen through. What began with a single speedrun on the leaderboards over 12 years ago to open the category culminated in me becoming a 2-time world champion. A night that legends were written in stone to be remembered far beyond our lifetimes. An achievement relative to the hyper-competitive games like Minecraft, Mario 64, or Pokemon? Maybe not, but one that I certainly won't forget. If you watched this long, consider subscribing for more content in the future. This channel is going to be bigger projects that I do, including major events that I'm a part of, fully cut down playthroughs of games that I stream, or whatever other high effort projects I feel like getting into. If you want more frequent stream content from me, then make sure you check out my stream highlight channel, which I usually post to a few times a week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace.